My sister always wanted to be a mother, then hated her daughter the moment she was born. I nuked both our families when I discovered why. My whole family, me included, thought it was just because Jenny was a girl. My sister Riri always said she hated girls and only liked boys. Friends, partners, co-workers, she only ever hung out with guys. When Riri got pregnant the first time, she threw a huge gender reveal party, and everything was covered in blue because she was so sure it was a boy. I remember her face just falling when pink powder filled the air. She forced a smile, but I saw her shoulders slump. The rest of her pregnancy, she shared articles about how girls are too dramatic and posted in online groups for boy moms about hoping for a son next time. After Jenny was born, things got weird. Riri would only dress her in brown or white clothes. She called her the child instead of her name. At family get-togethers, she'd complain that Jenny was too emotional and too needy. The poor kid was only 2 years old. She would tell anyone who would listen that she didn't want her. Meanwhile, my husband Joseph and I had been trying for a baby for 7 years. We'd been through everything. The shots, the procedures, the awful letdowns. I remember asking Riri if she'd consider letting us adopt Jenny, since she so clearly didn't want her. She got this crazy look in her eye and told me she'd rather sell Jenny than give her to us. I can't believe I thought she was just exaggerating. When Riri announced her second pregnancy last year, she was dead set on it being a boy. She announced that if it was a girl, she'd get in termination of pregnancy because she wasn't having another mistake. During the pregnancy, she tried every old wives' tale. She used Chinese gender charts, took special oils, and even looked into costly gender selection treatments. We all thought she was crazy until we found out she was actually having a boy. She went insane with joy. I remember at the gender reveal, when the blue smoke finally came, she dropped to her knees and just sobbed with happiness. Jenny, who was just a toddler, waddled over to hug her. Riri literally pushed her away, and the little girl stumbled and scraped her knee on a metal chair. It was awful to watch. We didn't interact much with Riri for the rest of the pregnancy, and even after she gave birth, the family kept its distance, mainly since she'd gone to another country to have the baby, claiming it was cheaper. Then, about 2 months after her son Robert was born, we all got on a family video call. At first it was nice. Robert was sleeping, and Riri was showing him off in his little mama's boy outfit. That's when my aunt asked to see Jenny. Riri's eyes went wide. She just looked down and quietly said Jenny wasn't with her. My aunt pushed her to explain. That's when Riri admitted she put Jenny up for adoption in December, while she was 6 months pregnant. She said she couldn't handle 2 kids and that giving her away before Christmas saved money on presents, which she needed for her trip. Everyone on the call was shocked. Not even 30 seconds later, my grandma started clutching her chest. Her breathing got shallow and she kept gasping Jenny's name. I was screaming at Riri that Joseph and I would have taken Jenny. I noticed he looked super uneasy the second I said that. The call fell apart. Riri disconnected while my grandma had to be rushed to the hospital. When I got home that night after making sure my grandma was okay, Joseph was acting very strange. First, I found him in our bedroom deleting photos from his phone. They were all from 4 years ago. The photos seemed random, and some looked like black and white ultrasound pictures. The timeline matched up to when I had my miscarriage, so I tried to tell myself it was a coincidence, but I had to ask. I asked what he was deleting, and he just stood up and went to the bathroom to keep doing it. When he came back out, I asked what was going on, and he just snapped. He told me I was being paranoid and needed to let it go. He said what happened with Jenny was Riri's business and we shouldn't get into it. This was strange. I hadn't even mentioned Jenny. The next day, I hired a private investigator. I told him to find out where Jenny was, who her father was, and to get me anything I could use to build a case. The PI worked fast. Within 2 weeks, he had hotel records, credit card receipts, and recovered text messages. The timeline was damning. 4 years ago, right after my miscarriage when I was in the hospital, Riri had comforted Joseph. Jenny was born exactly 9 months later. The